Hi everyone! I have successfully learned how to speak multiple foreign languages in my life, and I want to share my top 3 hacks with you. My top tips for learning a foreign language. Number one, speak, which I know everyone hates this one. You hate it, you hate it. I understand. I also hate it, but it gets easier as you do it. And something about speaking in the foreign language is that you're training your mouth, you're training your body with muscle memory. So you're just teaching your body this is how the words feel in your mouth. And the more you practice it, the easier it gets. It's just like lifting weights, same principle. So you really just have to train your body to get used to making those sounds in that language. And you'll see over time, it will get refined on its own because you'll pronounce a word just how you think it's meant to be pronounced. And people will either look at you confused and you'll have to keep trying until they understand what you're saying, or you'll realize I pronounced it correctly, they understood me, and all is well. Number two, listen. You want to put the sound of the language in your ears because that way you are training yourself to understand the melodies and the way that the language flows and kind of what is the kind of cadence that you want to adopt in order to sound more, to become better understood yourself so that you can replicate the sound. The more you have the language in your ears, the better you'll be able to do this. So my favorite ways to do this is by listening to a good podcast in that language, ideally something that you're interested in, to say the right subject. But even if not, and even when you don't understand what they're saying, even if you don't understand anything, I recommend when you're starting to learn the new language to already start listening to a podcast. What I like to do is look up the top podcasts from that country and just put it in your ears. So just consider it kind of a subconscious training. So you're not listening to the podcast for enjoyment or for the information. You're listening to the podcast in order to consider it music. Consider it basically music, just for the melody, for the cadence, for the just kind of feeling of how people talk and how it goes in that language. Listening also works really well for movies, for TV series. I also recommend that. I just feel like podcasts are the easiest because it's just sitting in your ear and it's kind of going sinking into your head. You're not so much getting distracted with a storyline or with the optics of it. But that said, my number 3 hack is definitely to watch art in that language. So TV series, movies, and you can put don't feel badly about, oh, I still have to just read the subtitles all the time. Doesn't matter because you're still training your ear to get used to that language. You're also learning a bit more about the culture because at the end of the day, a language is really a reflection of a place's culture. I heard this somewhere once, and it is so true that speaking a foreign language or learning a foreign language is kind of like treading into an ocean. So, you know how the waves break right at the part where you're entering the ocean? That's where all the waves are breaking. So, first, starting with a foreign language, you are trying to enter the ocean, and the waves are just crashing on you and crashing and crashing. And it takes a lot of effort just to enter the ocean. But then, once you get past that kind of initial resistance, then you get to a more open area and the waves spread out more and you can rest more. That is kind of what it feels like to learn a foreign language. At some point, you are going to get past that initial resistance, and before you know it, it's going to start to flow. Which foreign languages have you studied and why? Comment below.